I feel like I'm dating my boyfriend and his mom simultaneously. Whenever I want one-on-one time, he insists on including her, even for romantic movies. She always wants to join in on our plans, he says. How can I compete with this motherly bond? It's suffocating. Can our relationship survive this dynamic? When I first began dating my boyfriend, I genuinely liked his mother. She is enjoyable to be around, and we participated in many activities together, such as nature walks, dinners, and movie nights. I did not think much of it when my parents appeared surprised that his mother was frequently included as he was recovering from an illness, and I believed he simply enjoyed having her around. However, after approximately 10 months, I started to notice some uncomfortable patterns. One evening, I wanted to watch a romantic film, Baby Girl, that I had been anticipating. He organized the night but then invited his mother to join us, even though I had consistently expressed that I was uncomfortable watching that type of movie with her. It was supposed to be a date night, but he even ordered popcorn for all three of us. Additionally, a few weeks earlier, I wanted to see a movie in theaters with him for the first time, but he chose Nosferatu because his mother loves vampire films. He then invited her, transforming what was intended to be our date into an outing with his mother. They had previously gone to theaters, just the two of them. Consequently, I ended up staying in the bedroom and somewhat coerced us into watching it there. I could sense how strange he felt about it, as if he feared disappointing his mother after telling her that we might watch a film together. Anyway, that movie was terrible, so we ended up being intimate twice, and by 1 a.m. he asked if I wanted to have tea and the desserts he ordered with the popcorn. I agreed and went to the kitchen. To my surprise, he went to get his mother to join us. The next morning, I was sitting in the living room playing with the cat or something. We were both aware of each other, but neither of us said hello. This interaction happened literally once. Later, I overheard them whispering in her room. They were speaking another language. Who whispers in their own home during the day? I knew they were discussing me. Later, he brought it up and asked if I noticed that I didn't greet his mother that morning. It truly was the only time I failed to greet her out of 10 months. I thought it was insignificant. Had they never lived with anyone else before? Don't they understand how to manage relationships? If one person does not say hello, it should not be taken personally if they like and know each other. One instance shouldn't have such an impact. Perhaps if it had persisted for a week, I could understand it better. Later, she came home and I made it a point to greet her. However, she merely looked at me unenthusiastically. I thought, whatever, I do not care. Perhaps she was just having a bad day. It did not change my perception of her, as I know she is a very kind person. During a later argument, he mentioned that his mother felt I made her feel inferior. He often reminds me that he is not responsible for my feelings, but once his mother expressed that I made her feel a certain way, it became a significant issue. We argued about it for an entire week. On another occasion, I was with him from Friday until Tuesday. He could have planned a weekend getaway anytime. After the previous incident, I realized how close he and his mother were, which began to make me uncomfortable. I told him how much I would love to go on a vacation just 2 hours away from where we live. He mentioned the possibility of going, and I said I would love to join, but only if we spent the night, as I did not want to endure a 4-hour round-trip drive in one day. On Tuesday, I left, and he then invited me to Whistler. I asked if he planned to spend the night, and he replied no. He stated that hotels were too expensive at the moment, so I declined the invitation. He left around 3-4 p.m., which struck me as an odd time to leave for the drive home. Not surprisingly, he ended up spending the night with his mother and sister. This was the Tuesday following Valentine's Day, and I sensed he was doing this for them as a gift. He is the only man in their lives. I felt overwhelmed after expressing how much I wanted to experience this particular trip with him, only to find out he was going with his mother and spending the night. I even discussed a country I was considering visiting for an appointment I was planning to schedule. He expressed a desire to accompany me. When I asked more questions, it soon became evident that he wanted his mother to join us. This was intended to be our first vacation together. It was my trip, yet he wanted to come along and bring his mother. I found this absurd. I would prefer to go alone, and it had nothing to do with his mother. I simply wanted to enjoy romantic couple vacations, not a family outing filled with sightseeing. If his mother were to attend, I felt we could not just leave her alone. It would be incredibly rude. He then suggested bringing his sister along, so we could spend time with them and also have time alone. There have been instances where he has purchased expensive clothing. Before our relationship, he had little style and mostly wore comfortable homeware or older clothing. Upon dating me, he desired to improve his wardrobe, and I assisted him because he wanted to. I never pressured him to purchase anything. He started buying many items to enhance his wardrobe, but his mother would act very displeased and then blame me for it. I am 29, he is 38, he is a grown man. Who am I to dictate what a man can or cannot buy? I sensed she blamed me for his expenditures, especially when he would buy me things. He always wanted to show her what he bought for me, but I eventually stopped allowing that. I received a Chanel purse that I chose for Christmas from him, and his mother expressed a desire for the same one. Additionally, the gloves he bought for me were chosen first by me, then she told him she wanted them, prompting him to gift them to her for Christmas. He moved to an apartment only 3 minutes closer to the mall, and she instructed him not to walk there but to take nature walks with me instead. I detest this insinuation that I am spending his money, yet he gives her money since he retired her and likely supports his sister who is unemployed. If someone is 38 and earns their own income, why should I have any influence over their spending habits? She should be addressing these concerns with him directly, not directing them toward me. I was in a relationship for 10.5 years before this, and I never expressed one word to my partner about how he spent his money. He once gave his mother $50,000 for her birthday, and I did not mind at all. He gifted his sister a Mercedes. He was incredibly generous towards his family. I find it admirable when a man values his family. It demonstrates good character. However, I have never encountered a man who is generous with his family, but has family members who are jealous or concerned about him spending money on a girlfriend. My ex would never ask his mother to clean anything. He would hire a house cleaner. In contrast, my current boyfriend gives the impression that he is a child reliant on his mother to clean up after him. If he retired his mother to enjoy her life, as he claims, how does taking care of his daily chores equate to enjoying life? When we go for walks or out to eat, he is constantly texting his mother, sending her pictures and providing updates about everything. She does the same in return. She goes on hikes and literally shares everything with him through photos or phone calls. It is surreal. I feel as if my own boyfriend has another woman in his life and that woman is his mother. Last weekend, my shoulder and neck were hurting. I had my period and gave him about 3 to 4 intimate favors. We went for a massage because I kept mentioning my discomfort. I started watching White Lotus with him, maybe about 4 to 5 episodes, when he suggested telling his mother to catch up so we could all watch together. Here I was, in bed, freezing cold, feeling unwell. He kept asking me if we were going to watch White Lotus, pressuring me because his mother wanted to see it. I found it uncomfortable as the couch was annoying and I had to turn my neck to watch. Despite this, he ran me a bath, ordered food, and was incredibly sweet, so I agreed to watch it just to move past it. Afterward, he whispered to me, asking if I wanted to watch a movie. I was confused. It felt like he was trying to orchestrate these plans because he envisioned watching movies with his mother. He began showing a preview of a film and questioned whether his mom wanted to watch. It only increased my discomfort on the couch. I went to the washroom and then laid down in bed. A few minutes later, he entered and asked if I was coming out to watch the movie. I reminded him that I told him how much my neck hurt and how uncomfortable the couch was for me. It was frustrating, as I felt he did not consider me and only wanted to do these things with his mother. They can watch movies together every night. Why can't we hang out alone when we are together? It is not that his mother is trying to third-wheel us. It feels as if he wants her around and invites her along. Therefore, I do not even blame her. The responsibility lies with him. However, she does coddle him, which makes me feel as though he does not need me. How can I be a partner to him? How can I feel like the woman in his life and potentially a wife when his mother is making him fruit plates, doing his laundry, and cleaning up after him? When I saw his mother bring a fruit plate, I perceived him as a child. I prepare fruit plates for my daughter. Honestly, I used to handle everything related to cooking, including fruit, snacks, baking, and all household chores in my previous relationship, and I never thought it was an issue. I would like to fulfill that role for my current boyfriend as well. However, when I observe his mother doing these tasks, he comes across to me as a little child fixated on his mother. A man of his age should have a wife, not his mother caring for him. These are the responsibilities I should take care of for him and our future children if we were to have any. I struggle to comprehend what my position would be in this relationship if it were to progress. What if we lived together? Would I assume all the household responsibilities while his mother relaxed and focused on her own activities each day? Or would his mother and I be like sister wives to fulfill his needs? He also complains that I do not clean as frequently as I did in the past. The difference is that I now have my own apartment with significantly more responsibilities than I did previously, and I also have a child. Does he want me to be a slave to him and his mother, making her life easier? I dislike contemplating these thoughts, but given everything that has transpired, I cannot avoid wondering. I shared how much my daughter loves her grandmother because they engage in so many fun activities together, getting ice cream, etc. I believe that even if she does not eat the healthiest when she visits her grandmother, it is worth it for the memories they create together. He told me that he had a similar experience with his grandmother. and adored visiting her so much that his mother eventually stopped going to her home. That was one of the first points that stood out to me. How could someone be envious of the relationship between their child and their own mother? It is exceptionally healthy to maintain a strong relationship with grandparents. He came over to my house, and I demonstrated the only method I ever used to make popcorn, using just kernels, oil, butter, and salt. He enjoyed it and had never tried popcorn that way before. The next day, while at his house, he mentioned to his mother that I made the best popcorn he has ever had. She looked at me and it made me wonder. Then she later asked me to teach her how to make it. God forbid someone else make something that her son believes is the best. I could not care less. She can make it, which would reduce my workload. This past weekend, we talked about how his favorite band is coming to town, but we would need to travel to Toronto to see them. I thought it would be a fantastic couples trip, and that it could be a wonderful opportunity to create memories together. Then we found out that another band, which has a song we believe is our song, is also coming. We were excited discussing it the day before. After going for a nature walk with his mother and sister, we had dinner together, watched White Lotus, and afterward, as we were hanging out and talking, he put on YouTube and played the song I believe to be ours. He asked who wanted to go, inviting them. I was taken aback. I thought it would be a romantic and intimate occasion, but alas, it was not. They both agreed. Later, when I asked if his mother and sister would also be coming with us to see his favorite band in Toronto, he said yes. I couldn't believe it. They live together and have traveled to other countries, just the two of them. Russia, Thailand, Monaco, the south of France, and many other locations, just the two of them. Before living together, she would stay over at his place, clean, and they would go out to restaurants and movies together. He fell ill and claimed to have retired his mother from her job so she could care for him. Now that he is well, he insists that he will always have his mother living with him. Furthermore, he mentioned that if we were to have a child, the child would bear his mother's name. Absolutely not. I genuinely love him, and he is an excellent boyfriend in numerous ways, but this is a significant issue. He views it as wanting to thank his mother for working hard and wanting her to enjoy life, and he considers her a friend who wants to share experiences with him. When my daughter grows up, I would not want her to prioritize me over developing her own relationships and family. My parents would never impose that on me either. I feel close to my parents, but I do not text them and keep them updated about my day as frequently as I do with my boyfriend, as he does with his mother. I believe his mother requires a man in her life because he is the only man in her life. Honestly, I think he enjoys it. He hasn't had many girlfriends. Why would he need one when he already has someone emotionally? I appreciate his family. The issue lies in the amount of time spent together and the fact that he would prefer to engage in family activities that should be reserved for us as a couple. Can someone please provide guidance on how to make a relationship like this work? Sorry this is so lengthy. Story 2. My husband gave me an ultimatum: either work from home with him or leave. I sacrificed my bakery and independence for our family, yet he's now blocking my career dreams. I need you to help me, he says, but what about my ambitions? Is this love or control? Hello, communities. I am experiencing a challenging situation in my relationship, and I seek various perspectives. My husband and I have always attempted to support one another, or at least I believed so. However, recent developments have left me feeling utterly confused. Not long ago, my husband presented me with an ultimatum. Either I work with him from home or I must leave. According to him, working as freelancers from home is the best strategy to maximize our income. He also states that he values me immensely and requires my assistance with his business, which operates in the content creation industry. However, this feels less like a mutual decision and more like coercion that disregards my personal aspirations and career objectives. I apologize if this is difficult to read. English is not my first language. When I first met my husband, I was employed in 2 jobs, proud of my independence and living alone while paying my own bills. At that time, he had a good income and encouraged me to resign from my traditional jobs and launch my own business instead. I heeded his advice and pursued something I was genuinely passionate about: pastry baking. I studied, rented a kitchen, and established a small bakery that was performing well. However, shortly afterward, his income declined, and an opportunity emerged for him to collaborate with a partner in another city. To support him, I agreed to relocate, leaving behind the city I had called home for 12 years, where 3 of my siblings also reside, and I gave up my bakery. During this transition, our first daughter was born, and she is now 6 years old. The business partnership did not last, so we bought out his partner. I took charge of commercial management, recruitment, and supplier development for the company while he concentrated on other aspects. Later, we welcomed our son, who is now almost 3. In October 2023, we had to close the business due to financial challenges, and since that time, we have been struggling economically. 2 years ago, we moved to the outskirts of the city for a larger and better home. However, there is a caveat. Even though we own a family car, my husband is uncomfortable allowing me to use it for transportation. This significantly restricts my work options and independence, a concern that my friends and family have highlighted. He has always been assertive, but he never struck me as an authoritarian figure. I have always been ambitious, possessing a strong work ethic and the drive to grow. Although I do not have a completed university degree, I have studied politics, law, and human resources, and I have considerable experience in sales and human resources. Work has consistently been a vital aspect of my life, but I also prioritized being present for my children during their formative years. I continued to work until my water broke during both pregnancies and returned to work within a month, with my babies beside me until they weaned. Subsequently, I employed nannies for assistance, but I initially agreed to work less when they were very young because I believe a mother's presence from birth to 3 years is crucial for their development. Now that both children are in school, I finally have the time and opportunity to focus on my professional growth. Recently, thanks to my connections in local government, I was offered the opportunity to lead a project mentoring high school graduates from low-income backgrounds. I am genuinely excited about this chance to support my community, but my husband entirely opposes it. This opposition has ignited the current conflict, even though it only requires 2 hours a week. I love my children more than anything and would do anything for them, even remain in a coercive marriage at least for a time. They are my world. However, I sense something is very wrong in my marriage, and it is increasingly concerning. I do not want them to grow up in a family devoid of love, but it also pains me to consider that divorce might affect them negatively. At the same time, I fear they might grow up in an environment where their parents lack respect and support for each other, potentially shaping their understanding of normalcy in unhealthy ways. I suggested therapy to help us reach an agreement, but my husband is unwilling to listen or commit to addressing our differences, which intensifies my feelings of entrapment. Since I was 12, I have valued economic independence and personal growth, a lesson I learned from my mother. My father operated a successful business but passed away suddenly when I was 3, leaving us in a precarious financial position. Although my mother initially had financial security, she pursued her professional growth and ensured we had opportunities we otherwise would not have encountered. Her example profoundly influenced my belief in independence and the importance of personal development. Additionally, I have the belief that fathers tend to pass away young. Not only did I lose my father at an early age, but my sister became a widow at 26 when her husband died in a boating accident, leaving her with a 6-month-old baby. For me, being a part-time freelancer or a stay-at-home mother feels threatening. It makes me anxious. With this ultimatum, I feel my husband does not acknowledge the sacrifices I have already made for our relationship, nor does he seem to understand how crucial my personal and professional development is to me. I wonder if he realizes the potential repercussions of his ultimatum. He has no family of his own, and this power struggle could end poorly for him. Is it reasonable for a relationship to demand this level of sacrifice? Conversely, my husband possesses a college degree but refuses to work for someone else. I have always supported his choice not to pursue a traditional job, even though I could have argued that, as a father, he needed to provide for us. I have never imposed that on him, and I feel he should extend the same consideration to me. I was raised in a family that respects individuality within partnerships. Yet at this moment, I feel conflicted and overwhelmed. Any advice or insights would be greatly appreciated. I am deeply troubled. Starting therapy feels like a tsunami crashing onto my beach.